Thank you for that introduction, and delighted to be with you all today to share Cisco's vision for the next decade. This new decade that we've just entered, let's talk about how Cisco is going to support our customers with our multi-domain intent-based networking approach over the next 10 years to truly deliver the business outcomes that every business will require as we go through what we hope will be an exciting new decade for us all. But when you start to look to the future, sometimes it's good to look to the past, and I like to look back before I think about the future. And as I look back over the last 10 years, I start to think about how much has changed in the technology world. I remember meeting with CIOs, some of them maybe yourselves, only 6 or 7 years ago, having a conversation around bring your own device. Remember BYOD? And many of you would say, Gordon, no, we're never allowing people to bring their own devices into the network. And why were we having that conversation? Well, we were having that conversation because you were starting to deploy wireless technology in your businesses. Yes, it was only 5, 6 years ago that you were truly deploying wireless technologies at scale across your businesses. Before that, you needed to have a cable to get access to the resources in your business that you wanted to gain access to. Crazy thinking about that, isn't it? So we've then moved through this world of mobile collaboration in the office environment, which is driving great productivity, to a world that's only occurred in the last couple of years, where you can connect from anywhere to be able to get access to the resources that you require. On a train, even on a plane, anywhere, we're now being able to connect to those resources. So the world has changed phenomenally during that period of time. At the same time, when you think about us consumers, our world has changed significantly as well. I just think about my own eating habits. If I wanted fast food like a pizza, 10 years ago, I was going to the shop. That was the only way I could get the pizza. Now, I can sit in my house. I can go onto an app on my phone. I can order a pizza. I can track that pizza being made. I can track that pizza being delivered to my door. I can pay for that pizza all over my phone. I don't need to do anything other than lift up an app or go onto an application on my phone. It's getting scary, however, because we're going beyond that with virtual assistants and AI, where the virtual assistant might actually talk to me and say, hey, Gordon, it's Tuesday. It's half-price pizza day. You normally order a pizza. Will we order it on your behalf? And all I have to say is yes. And everything is done for me. The same is true in the back office. We're seeing change in organizations where, in supply chain, everything was a manual process before. We're moving into a world of automation in many instances, and potentially we're moving to a world where it will be autonomous moving forward. Not just cars being autonomic, but the back office being autonomic. And at the heart of that will be data. And we'll come and talk more about the importance of data in a minute or two. But there's many examples all around the world today of how digital transformation has really only happened in the last 5, 6 years, but certainly only in the last decade. I mentioned the pizza example earlier. Volkswagen, one of the first car manufacturers to allow you to configure your car online on your mobile device and order it and track the manufacturer of it. UPS, one of the first parcel delivery companies to allow you to place an order online and track the delivery of your parcel. DBS, one of the first banks to deliver mobile banking via your mobile device. And it goes on and it goes on. But there's something in common around virtually everything I've spoken about so far. There's something in common about digital transformation over the last 10 years. And that thing has been the ability to connect the user seamlessly to the application. At the heart of that has been the mobile device. The mobile device has been a big part of us allowing the user and the application to come together, but net, bringing the user and the application together has driven much better productivity in our organizations and has allowed us to gain much more knowledge and get closer to our customers at the same time. So, If digitization over the last 10 years has been about connecting the user and the application, what's going to happen over the next 10 years? Well, the user and the application are not going away. They're still going to be here, and they're still going to be massively important and a big part of your digital transformation strategy. But I also believe that there'll be another factor in this as we move forward. The other factor will be the environment or the location. And when I say that, I mean the environment and location both of the user and the environment and location of the application at the same time. Over the last 10 years, we've been struggling or trying to deliver customer satisfaction. Over the next 10 years, you will have to deliver customer delight. And the only way that you will deliver customer delight will be the three-way relationship between user, application, and environment as we move forward. And what I'm going to walk through with you in a few minutes or two is how this is Cisco's strategy for the next decade. For the last decade, we were focused on delivering connectivity between user and application. In the next decade, we're going to be looking at how we monetize the relationship for you between the user, application, and the environment. Let me introduce you to John to give you an example. John's been working in the office 4 or 5 days a week for the last number of years, but something happened back in February of this year, and John had to transition to work from home. The first thing we thought about was how do we get him connectivity at home? And we worked very hard, very quickly to get him connectivity. We then said, hey, we need to make it secure, and we looked at VPN technologies to make sure we got it secure. But once we got it secure and him connected, we're now starting to think about, well, how do we make sure he has the right performance based on the applications he's using or based on who he is as a user? So if he is a salesperson using collaboration technologies to engage with his customers, we better make sure he has strong performance. If he works in the legal department and he has access to sensitive information, we better make sure that he has security across that environment. So we're starting to now think about the persona and the application in a completely different way. Now, at the same time, John is starting to think about heading back to the office, and we're starting to think about how do we safely help John come back to the office so that he can feel safe in that environment. And we're now looking at how we triangulate user, application, and location to help John be safe in the work environment. We have the ability by triangulating user, application, and environment to now work out exactly where John is in our office. And we can start to send John a notification to his device that says, there's now too many people in your building and you need to think about leaving. Or if he's transiting from one floor to another floor in the building, as he moves to the other floor, say to him he's now moving into a floor where there's too many people and he has to not go to that floor. Or we can take it one stage further, and as he enters a meeting room, we can push him a message to tell him whether or not it's safe and secure to enter that meeting room, or whether or not there's too many people in it from a social distancing perspective, and he should stay out. This is the beauty of being able to connect data, being able to connect the application, the user, and the environment through data. And this is at the heart of Cisco's strategy moving forward, being able to drive that triangulation, not just between the user and their environment, but the application and their environment as well. So ultimately, we will use all of these capabilities to make it safe for John to return to the office and for him to be all clear while he works in that environment. So let's have a look behind the scenes. Let's have a look at our multi-domain approaches that allow us to do all of this for the user, because this doesn't happen automatically. This doesn't happen, without you making some strategic decisions in your IT environment to allow this to happen. So first and foremost, we have to make sure that your user has access to all of their business critical applications, no matter where they are, working from home or working in the office. we do that by deploying our data-sensitive, our data-driven technologies and DNA campus technologies, and our SD-WAN technologies, and our ACI technologies to make sure that we have enough visibility to make sure that we can enforce the right performance across those applications. Indeed, we can now extend visibility beyond the network into the internet with our recent acquisition of Thousand Eyes as well. So we are going to make sure that we give John the best performance possible through our ability to have deeper visibility into the network than any other vendor. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we would welcome John back into the office and we would use location-based analytics to do that. Well, we do that with software called Cisco DNA Spaces. And Cisco DNA Spaces software is just software that sits on top of the wireless network to be able to give us that capability. Now, at the same time, the wireless network has to be a high-performing network to be able to pass back all of the data that we need. And most of our customers are moving to Wi-Fi 6-based networks so that we get the best possible performance. But indeed, we can still do this on the more legacy wireless networks as well. So this is how we start to, provide that location-based capability. But at the same time, we're using more server performance to deliver some of these new enhanced capabilities. And we have to be very careful about our overall server performance as these application demands increase. So what's also really critical to us is to monitor the performance of our applications and our server load. And what we're using technology like App Dynamics and Nexus Insights to start to look predictively at our server and application performance. And we can start to predict the future that we may run into problems with regards to application load on the network and the impact that that's going to have. Now, if you can start to predict what's going wrong, you want to be able to quickly, seamlessly stand up more server capacity to make sure you don't run into those problems. And we can stand up those capacities easily with Azure AWS, for example. But it's not just about standing up the capacity. It's about standing up the capacity and guaranteeing performance and making sure it's secure. So to do that, we're using our cloud ACI technology and MSO technology to make sure that we're not just standing up that capacity, but we're standing it up in a secure and a performance-based way as well. So all of these capabilities are based on data, they're based on visibility, they're based on analytics to be able to allow us to predict the future and provide the service that your user wants at the end of the day. And all of that data-driven approach is guaranteeing no downtime, and it's guaranteeing an uncompromised user experience. It's also helping IT react and be more efficient at the end of the day as well. So our multi-domain approach, which is, as you'll see in a minute or two, is very much focused on analytics and data, has an impact for the IT department because we start to be more proactive and we can predict faults and reduce ongoing maintenance costs. We can resolve problems quicker. We can move things seamlessly and be more agile in terms of how we move things to the cloud. For the user, they have confidence and safety. We're delivering new enhanced services to them. They can be engaged and productive because their performance is not impacted no matter where they connect, and they're seamless. They're doing the same thing from no matter where they connect, and at the same time, all of this is delivering business benefits. It's delivering business benefits around continuity and flexibility. We're driving operational efficiencies, and we're also collecting enough data to make sure that the company is safe and compliant at the same time. So all of these drive our multi-domain strategy as a company. And if we want to think about that multi-domain strategy in a layered approach, I would like you to think about this slide, if I may. This slide kind of shows that, what most companies are trying to do. They're trying to connect to any device, to any application, wherever that application may reside. It may reside in the data center. It may reside with a hyperscaler like Amazon, Google, and Azure. Or indeed, it may be a SaaS-based service like ServiceNow or Salesforce.com or Box that you're looking to gain access to. And everybody's saying, oh, this is becoming more complex, this world. So how can I solve complexity? Well, I'll solve complexity by simplifying everything. And I'll simplify everything by just creating a strategy of moving everything to the cloud. And as I create that strategy to move everything to the cloud, I'll also think about what I can automate. Yes, I've solved my problem. But as customers start to do that, they start to run into problems. They run into problems because they're starting to lose visibility of what their users are doing every minute of the day. That's a problem. They're starting to see performance issues in the applications and users get disgruntled. That's a problem. And they're also starting to see their costs spiral as they move everything into the cloud with a cloud-first strategy. That's a problem. So from our point of view, rather than a cloud-first strategy, we believe the right approach is a cloud-considered strategy that also allows you to control the way that you move forward. And you drive that cloud-considered approach, or this hybrid cloud world, not by focusing on simplification. Although that is important, and it's still at the heart of everything we do, you do that by driving a strategy around experience. Now, I've touched on this a bit, but how do you drive a strategy around experience? Well, you have to invest in your ability to have full visibility of everything that's going on in your environment and collect loads of data. And as you collect that data, you then have to analyze it in super quick time so that that data turns into insight. And then you have to make sure that you secure not just the person or the data or the application, but you secure your environment in an effective way. And this is truly where Cisco's been investing over the last 3 or 4 years. And this is truly how Cisco will differentiate itself from all of our competitors moving forward. And this is truly how Cisco is going to build the network for the next decade for our customers. You just have to look at the acquisition of Thomson over the last couple of months, where we're now extending visibility beyond your intranet, to the full internet, so that no matter where somebody is connecting to your business applications securely, we can have full visibility of that connectivity, and we can start to see where potentially the issues are if they have performance issues. Look at the acquisition of AppDynamic in terms of monitoring the performance of applications across your environment. All of this is to make sure we deliver customer delight, not just customer satisfaction. At the heart of this, Cisco has invested in visibility and analytics over the last 3 or 4 years, over $7 billion in companies that help improve network visibility and application visibility so that we can improve performance for you. We've also invested internally in things like Titration, Network Assurance Engine, DNA Spaces to enhance our network analytical capabilities internally. All of which means we're spending close to $10 billion as a business in visibility and analytics. If I look at our competitors globally, in total, it looks to me as if they've spent maybe around $2 billion in total in this space. Why do I say that? I don't say it to say that when you spend that amount of money, you're better than the rest. I don't mean that at all. I say it because our intent is different. Our intent is to make sure that you monetize every piece of data on your network. And if you can monetize every piece of data on your network, then you're going to change the game in terms of the experience you offer your users, both employees and your customers, as we move forward. If I look at this in a pure network diagram and I compare what we are doing compared to our competitors, this is what I would say. I would say everybody's trying to connect users and things to applications, and everybody's looking at trying to build a consistent network connectivity stack. Everybody's trying to give you an ability to provide the same consistent technology end to end. You know, you just have to look at our competitors, VMware, HP, and others are buying technologies to try and complete the amber layer here of the infrastructure stack. And then when you do that, you start to build software automation, software-defined capabilities on top of it, and you start to say, hey, as we build you end-to-end connectivity, we're going to make it simple to deploy and manage, through an automation layer in the environment. This is where we're playing, this is where our competitors are playing. However, where Cisco's playing differently is in that insights, in that data layer, in that data connectivity layer, in that data collection layer, is where we're playing differently. And this is the game changer for the future that I need you to think about as you build your network infrastructures for this next decade. Where we are today is in a world where we've started to build these capabilities in each of our domains, in the data center domain, in the WAN domain, in the campus branch domain. We've built the automation capabilities and we've built the data insights capabilities. Now we're moving into a world where we connect these together. And the gold dust for you isn't just your ability to automate end to end here. The gold dust for every single one of our customers is to take data and monetize it end to end. Because it's then that you truly can automate your network and truly start to think about potentially how it becomes autonomous as you move forward as well. And it's only then that you truly change the game for your users in this new decade to not just deliver customer satisfaction, but to deliver customer delight. I believe Cisco is the only networking vendor on the planet that's looking to allow you to move at the pace you want to move at, but not by thinking about automation first, but by thinking about data first. And if you think about data first, then you'll be able to drive agility not just into your IT department, but you'll be able to drive agility into your business. And it's then you deliver business outcomes through technology, not just IT solutions through technology. So in closing, team, I'd like to leave you with these three thoughts. Number one, yes, it's critically important that your network is reliable and it delivers strong connectivity. But for the next decade, the network is no longer just about reliable connectivity. We need to deliver more value than that. The value of that starts by having deep visibility into everything that's going on, both on your network and off your network, because that visibility will give you control. Don't give that visibility away to a cloud provider. Hold on to that visibility in your organization so that you have the control you need to make the right decisions for the future. And as you collect that mountain of data, don't worry, because we have the analytical capabilities to analyze that data and truly turn that data into instantaneous insights for you to allow you to manage your IT environment better and allow you to change the game in terms of your business environment and how you make better business decisions moving forward. Team, I believe there's only one networking vendor on the planet that can prepare you to deliver customer delight to your employees and to your customers in the next decade, and that company is Cisco. Thank you for your time.